Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. It is the week before Christmas. Are you all prepared for the holidays? If you celebrate, we're pretty much prepared. We don't really have large family anymore. So the kids in our family are grown now. My husband's family's in California, so we send them gifts, but this year we decided to give each other gifts. Again, we don't do that every year. I mean, you can only have so much stuff, right? We have everything we need, everything we want, but I'm going to turn you around here. Just trying to get around it because my gift has arrived. And of course, what did I get? A tree. Who needs jewelry and clothes and gadgets? All I want is plants. So I'm going to turn this around. I would have rather it be delivered in March or April when we're ready to plant, but the company who I ordered it from does not hold shipments of plants like a lot of online companies do. So it's here now. Not 100% sure what we'll do with it. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So we'll take you along for the unboxing, and then, like I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do with it. Come garden with me, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do with my tree in December. Here's the box, quite big. It is a 6 to 7 foot tree, which is kind of tough to get online, but it was on sale. I've been wanting this tree for a few weeks, several weeks. I've been watching it. It was already on sale, but I kind of put off buying it because we are going towards winter and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get it planted. But then it went on sale again just this week, so I thought, you know what, that's a sign I need to order it. Again, 6 to 7 footers, tough to find online, so let's get this baby unboxed. All right, so let's see what this baby looks like. Hopefully it's well packed. Sometimes when you order online, it's not always the case. I ordered 2 Jim Wilson Sweet Bay Magnolias last summer, so 2022 I think, or spring 2022. They both came broken in half. Absolutely horrible packaging. They were not even insecure in the box. No, you know, like foam or something to hold the trees secure. This one I can tell the pot itself is like got one of those zip ties, so it's kind of like zip tied to the box. I mean, obviously it's not much to look at now, but yeah, it's in good shape. We'll see how tall it actually is once we get it out of the box. Again, this is an Armstrong Gold Maple, so it is a tall, narrow tree. Even though in the spot where this is going, I didn't necessarily need a narrow tree because there's plenty of space up there. I didn't want it to overshadow the new green giant arbors we planted up there. So I wanted something that was going to stay a little bit narrow, but I also wanted something that was going to have pretty fall foliage. So this is it. Ooh. Let's see if we can... so I would say it is closer to 6 feet out of the pot once we get that out of the pot. My husband's 5'9". You know, it's over his head now, but again, the pot's like 8 inches. So it's probably about 6.5 feet tall. It's well branched. I mean, you can even see it's got some smaller branches down here. Again, that is an Armstrong Gold Maple. It's got some nice branches. They're reddish. I'm assuming that's because they're young. So I'll tell you the stats on this when we get inside, and I'll show you the plan and all those exciting details. Hey everyone, so we are inside now. You might remember this picture because I had already really done a video on the plans for this Armstrong Gold Maple, so I'm not going to spend a heck of a lot of time rehashing that, but I just wanted to show you a picture of what this is going to look like when it's mature. So you can see it is quite columnar for a maple. Maples don't usually stay very columnar. They're usually almost as wide as they are tall, which can be up to 70 feet. And like I said in the clip that when we were outside, I don't want anything that was going to get really wide because we recently just planted some green giant arbs up in the area where this is going to go, and I don't want anything that was going to shade them out. So let me show you. Again, you've seen this picture, these plans, so I don't want to spend a ton of time, but so these are the 4 arbs. Our property line, if you can see my mouse arrow, is kind of somewhere in the back here. We left enough room for a fence and for these arbs to kind of grow out back here and up front a little bit. So there's 4 arbs. The Armstrong Gold Maple is going to go here. So you can see I wouldn't want anything that was going to be too wide. I believe the amount of space we left between the 2 in the middle here, oh gosh, I'm going to say it's about 17 feet. And I believe the stats on the Armstrong Gold Maple are 12 wide. So there'll be plenty of room here. I think once everything grows, there'll still be room. I don't think the arbs are going to touch the trunk of the maple. But if that does happen, I'm not too concerned about that. Any other landscaping we may or may not put up here is going to be up front here. We do have some pinky winky hydrangeas we're going to be moving. There's going to be one that's going to go here, and there's going to be one that's going to go about here, and then we have a couple of miscanthus grasses that are going to go on either side of those hydrangeas. This tree will move. There's another tree here. I don't know if you can see that where I'm pointing. So this tree here is a tulip poplar that kind of popped up. We did not plant it. We'll move that somewhere because they are pretty trees. And then further back here, you can't see out of the shot, is a sweet bay magnolia that we will also be moving. So up here is just going to be very simple. We wanted to delineate the property line a little bit and also create kind of like an open privacy screen. So this is not going to create any kind of a green wall. I didn't want that. Like I said, we are going to have a fence. It's just going to be a 3-bar fence, vinyl, white. Things that are changing in our neighborhood. I don't want my property kind of as open as it used to be. Never really had any kind of plans for up here, but you know, for one reason or another, especially the fact that I'm now doing a YouTube channel, I feel like I need to create more garden space, but also because as the neighborhood changes, I feel the need to just have some property delineation and some privacy. I've said in previous videos, our property is a little bit wonky. I mean, our house is like, again, see that? It's like down over here, yet this property up here is behind my neighbor's property, which I don't feel uncomfortable being up here, but not sure how much longer our neighbors on this side are going to be around. And you know, with new neighbors and the property lines being so wonky, I want to feel comfortable in my own space. So I'm trying to make this area up here slightly delineated so that even with, you know, property stakes that are still in existence, and when people come in, look at a new house or buy a new house, you know, they will be kind of told where their property line is. I don't want any mistakes there because this area of our yard is right above our neighbor's backyard. So where these trees are is my neighbor's backyard. This up here is our yard. I don't want any mistakes. I don't want any disillusions about where our property is. So that's kind of what I'm doing up here in anticipation of my very elderly neighbors not being around for much, much longer for one reason or another. So that's what I'm kind of doing up here. So that's where the Armstrong Gold Maple is going to go. Again, you saw the plan if you watched in a previous video. So this is, you know, what it's going to look like. This is the maple. The green is representing the arbs. Over here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Over here is the pinky winky hydrangea, 2 grasses. It's going to be mirrored on the same side. So everything's going to be very formal kind of up here, in that it's not going to be just a long border with lots of perennials, and it's going to be very mirrored and structural and a little bit more formal because there is going to be so much repetition. You know, we might do a little bit in the front of the Armstrong Gold Maple. This bed will be full sun, so it'll be fine in front of a maple. I don't know what we might put here. 3 viburnums, something that's just going to be low maintenance. We might move some more perennials or grasses up here that we have in the garden that are not doing well in their current location. But again, it's just going to be simple, just kind of to delineate the property line and start to get a privacy fence up here, but not a green wall. It's just going to be slightly more private than it is right now. So that's what we're going to have up here eventually. I don't, again, think there's going to be too much more added, but that's what I'm looking to do. So that's where this maple's going to go. Obviously, we'll take you along in the spring. I don't even know. This is not a huge priority, this area right up here. I have areas closer to the house that need to be worked on. But we will start moving the stuff up here in the spring because it's much easier to move plants, to transplant things before they fully leaf out. So I hope to get this done maybe sometime in April, depending on the weather. That way the grasses are not fully grown when we go to move them. The pinky winky hydrangeas are not in full bloom and fully leafed out when we go to move them. It will just make the transplant so much easier. And then, you know, for the time being, we can just leave this area alone for a bit while we tackle other projects. But I just wanted to share that with you. Again, I'm not sure what we're going to be doing with the maple yet. So I'll bring the picture up so you can have something pretty to look at while I talk. It is 6 to 7 foot at the moment. Obviously, it's kind of in its dormancy, but it does have some tender branches on it. So I don't know if we're going to keep it in the garage all winter. I don't know if we're going to plant it up in one of our frost-free pots. The container it's in is obviously it's quite small. It's plastic. If we decide to put it outside, it would probably be on our patio, which is a little bit protected, and it will be up close to the house. But I don't know what kind of a winter we're going to have, and that pot is not frost-free. Obviously, I don't want the roots to freeze. We have a couple of pretty big frost-free containers that we plant annuals in every summer, and those are covered for the winter, but they still have plenty of dirt in them if we decide to transplant this maple into that pot and overwinter it in there. We did that last winter with some shrubs and perennials, and they all did just fine, but we had a really warm winter last year. Like I said, I have no idea what's going to happen this winter. I think the tree would be fine in there because it is a frost-free pot and it is a big pot, so the roots will be protected. So if we decide to do that, we'll take you along. But for now, we have it in the garage. Really excited to get this plant up there, planted up there. And like I said, we'll take you along when we do that. Okay, a little bit change of plans. We've decided we're going to, oh, sun's bright, plant the maple in one of our frost-free pots. I've brought it out onto the deck, so let me turn you around so you can see the pot that we are going to put this maple in. Okay, so I'm on my deck. Got to move the pot. It's under a cover. This is one of the containers that we usually have on our deck. We have 2 of them, and it's frost-free. It is quite big. I think you can tell just by looking at it there compared to the pot of the maple. It's much bigger than the pot that the maple's in right now, and I think it's going to be just fine. I would prefer to have it on my patio, to be quite honest with you, instead of on the deck. I feel like the patio is just a little bit more tucked in, and it gets protection from the winds because of the deck in the winter. Like I said before, I don't know what kind of a winter we're going to have, but at any rate, we're going to get it in the pot. So really, it's just going to involve taking it out of one, plunking it into another. So we're just putting little risers down on the deck to keep the pot off the deck. We do that all the time because we don't like the marks that these pots make. And somebody wants to come outside. Hello, baby girl, you're so pretty. That's Pumpkin. So let's see if you can get a better look at this pot. So you can see it's quite a large pot, so I think the maple will be much happier in there, even though it's going to be outside. And maybe once the lawn dries out a little bit from the rain we had this past weekend, we can try to move this pot to the patio. I just think it'll be happier there, but for now it's going to stay on the deck. We'll see how that goes.
Is that too deep?
I doubt it. So there you can kind of see the comparison of the pot that the maple's in now compared to what we're putting it in. I think that pot that the plant is in, that it came from, the grower, is way too small. for a 6 to 7 foot high maple. So I think we're making the right decision here to transplant it. Hopefully it survives the winter. Looks like it's going to be tricky getting it out of the pot. It's well rooted though. This is actually the same company that I got the crabapple from that I planted earlier, the Royal Raindrops. I think overall they do a really good job. Oh, and I did notice this morning, to be quite honest with you, when I was going online to look up the stats for this maple, that it's back up to regular price, so I'm really glad I ordered it when I did. Just trying to make sure that the roots are covered here. We don't want too much soil up around the trunk, but there are some roots that are right at the top of the root ball, so we want to make sure they're covered. And mission accomplished. I think this tree will be happier in this pot. It's pretty tall. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, it's just a quick one, the week before Christmas. I wish you all a happy holidays if you're celebrating, and we will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.